Hello, and welcome to this first lecture on the new topic of translating data into actionable insights in this course, data analysis and data analytics. So, in this section, we will help you get an in-depth view of translating data into actionable insights. And as first lecture in that, we will talk to you about how to use compelling charts, graphs, and narratives to influence decision makers. So, this learning about compelling charts, graphs, and narratives to influence decision maker can help translate data into actionable insights that can help improve data storytelling and communication. So, how to use compelling charts, graphs, and narratives to influence decision makers? First, let's understand that decision makers, just don't need data. They need insights that can drive action. And the right visual and storytelling techniques can translate complex data into business impact. So, what are the things that you need to do? So, first one is to choose the right chart for the message. Now, not all charts are equal. So you need to use the best visualization for your insights. For trends over time, line charts are the best. For comparisons by sales, by region, by product, etc., you should use bar charts. For parts of a whole, pie charts are good to use. And for relationship between variables, you can use scatter plots. And for progress towards the goals, you can use bullet charts. Now, to give you what is the right and the wrong example, now if you use a pie chart for 10 plus categories, that's too cluttered a visualization, and that is not right. But if you use a bar chart to clearly compare performance by category, then I think that's a much better way to represent your insights. So choose the right chart for the message as the first thing to do. Second thing, you need to simplify and highlight key messages, as we were saying earlier in the example. Remove unnecessary clutter, 3D effects, grid lines, excessive labels. Use colors strategically, red for risk, green for growth, etc., etc. Use annotations to highlight key takeaways, right? Wherever necessary, where you need to have for the key takeaways, use annotations. Now, a good example of this and a bad example, not so good example would be a not so good example would be a chart with 20 plus data points in different colors. That would be too many colors driving your viewer or decision maker kind of crazy, right? Then a better way would be a chart that highlights three most important insights in bold. So too many bolds, too many colors, too many labels is complications, right? So simplify and highlight key messages. Third thing will be to tell a story as we've been talking about, just not just show data. Structure your insights into a narrative of a problem, setup and discovery, the data insight, and the recommended action. And that's how you should present your data story. Three key simple steps. Let's take a look at an example of this data story. Now, a simple data would be saying, the sales just dropped by 20%, 12% in Q3. That's simple data. That's not a story because it doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't tell you an insight. It doesn't tell you. It is the first, the problem itself. That it just tells you the problem. It doesn't tell you about insight and the solution. Instead of that, a storytelling approach would be to say sales dropped by 12% in Q3. They mainly due to competitors' aggressive discounting. And if we launch a targeted campaign, we can recover 5 to 7% by Q4. That's a full story. That has the problem, the insight, the reason for the problem, and the proposed solution. So tell a story, not just show the data. Then make it business relevant. I mean, don't tell a story about something that is not relevant. Tie the data to the business goals, right? The business goals could be revenue, efficiency, customer satisfaction, and use real world examples to make data reliable, right? And specific. Avoid technical jargon and keep it simple. An example of this would be, say just the data, our churn rate is 8%, right? Now, now the business impact of that better way to present would be that reducing churn by 2% could increase revenue by 1.5 billion annually. So you are translating that into key business objectives. That if you reduce the churn by 2%, this is what it means. Because if I'm a decision maker, I really don't understand that if our churn rate is 8%, first it is good, bad, or ugly, or is it excellent? And if I reduce it, should I reduce it? If I reduce it by 2%, what does it mean to me? So make it business relevant. The fifth step would be to use the dashboards for instant insights. You could do that. You could use live dashboards like Power BI Tableau that can help track real-time matrices. You can customize views for different stakeholders like CEOs, marketing, and sales, right? And then you can use drill down features so decisions makers can explore details. They get full information as much as they want to. Next thing would be to compare scenarios for better decision making. Decision makers need options. You can use what if scenarios to present multiple solutions. Let's take a look at an example. You could present an option A saying that if you lower price, which is lower price by 5%. And what is the impact of that? That is making it business relevant. Expected revenue impact of $2 billion plus. So if you lower price, you're likely to get $2 billion sales extra, revenue extra. Now there is an option B. If you increase ad spend by 20%, your expected revenue impact will be plus 3 billion. So that will help your decision makers make choice, right? So a scenario comparison chart like this helps executives quickly see the trade-off and make decisions, right? Another thing you need to do is to follow up with the next steps. Now you need to provide clear recommendations based on the insights that you have using the story. Use action-oriented language like launch a pilot program by Q2 and track and report progress to show the impact of the decision. An example of that would be, that after implementing AI-driven customer support, response times dropped by 40%, improving customer satisfaction by 15%. So you need to provide such clear recommendations, action-oriented, and track and report progress. So what is the final takeaway? So first, data alone doesn't drive action. You need clear visuals and strong narratives to do that. Second, you need to focus on business impact, just not numbers only, and use storytelling to connect data to decision making. So what do we do next? So we will take a look at another aspect of translating data into actionable insights, of providing business recommendations, just not numbers, as we were saying just now in this lecture. So thank you so much for watching this first lecture on translating data into actionable insights. I hope you're continuing to learn new things, continuing to enjoy, and I do look forward to see you again in the next lecture. Please feel free to message me if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer your questions and do download the PDF file to take a look at anything that you need to.